it's Whitney and welcome back to my channel. So I'm sure from the title you've guessed what this video is. If you haven't read the title and you just clicked on the video, today we're going to be doing the TBR tag. Really, I just wanted an excuse to talk about my TBR. It's a tad bit excessive at the moment and I have some personal goals with it, which we're not going to talk about here, not really, other than the fact that I want to get through a lot of the books that I bought when I first started my channel, because they're sort of starting to feel like they're keeping me from reading other things as they come out because I feel guilty that I haven't read the books that have been sitting around a while. I feel like that's not a unique feeling either. But yeah, I was sort of just thinking about my TBR and happened across this tag, so I decided I was gonna do it because why not? Question number one is, how do you keep track of your TBR pile? So up until recently, I really wasn't, until I made the conscious decision that I wanted to sort of start whittling down things that have been on my TBR for a while. Now I use an app called Bookshelf. It's really simple and easy to use. I feel like it could be used a lot like people use a Goodreads shelf, except for it's just like easier to manage. So if you like using Goodreads to keep track of your books but you don't so much like it for keeping track of your TBR and that kind of stuff, I would say maybe check out an app and see if it's better. I tried spreadsheets and stuff like that and they just didn't work for me. The second question is your TBR mostly print or mostly physical books? Mine is mostly print. I actually only just got a Kindle. I have had a Nook for a little while and I never really used it. There are a lot of different reasons why. I've used this Kindle more in the past week that I've had it than I really ever used the Nook. I don't know why. Honestly, thinking about it, the only thing I can come up with is that the outside of the Nook that I have has a texture on it, and I have a weird sensitivity issue with texture. The third question is, how do you determine which book on your TBR you're going to read next? That's pretty easy for me. If you've never watched one of my TBR games, it is called Tabletop TBR, and I do it every month to pick a TBR for myself. It is a D&D inspired board game. I'll leave a link in the cards for you guys, so if you want to go and check it out, you can. So overall, as far as creating like a monthly TBR, which I know a lot of people don't like to do because they're heavy mood readers, I am not. I sort of thrive with having a dedicated TBR, except I don't like it to be restrictive. I know that that kind of contradicts itself, but I don't like something that says, oh, you can read these books, but you can only read these books. So if something you want to read comes up, you cannot read it. I feel like a lot of TBR games are set up that way because of punishments and stuff like that, and reading is a hobby for me. It's fun. I love it. I don't want to make it feel like work or like I'm being punished when I don't read a specific thing, so I decided really not to do a punishment on mine. The fourth question is, what is a book that has been on your TBR the longest? So there were a couple on my list, but it is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I did start this one a long time ago, before I was more versed in fantasy and could comprehend things better. I got 100 pages into this and I was liking it. I was just, I don't know, I think I was wanting to get through more books, you know, the quantity over quality thing, and it just was getting to me then, and I put this down and read other things. The fifth question is, what is a book you recently added to your TBR? I've added a lot of books to my TBR recently, but I think one of the most recent ones is Ghost Wood Song, which honestly, I don't know that much about. The back says, The Fiddle Made of Secrets, a song to raise the dead. I am here for necromancy. I don't really need to know more, and I don't think I want to know more. I do know that there is a plot line with like her brother maybe going to prison for something, and I'm not sure how that is going to tie into like the weird supernatural-esque vibes that I'm getting from this. The sixth question is, what is a book that's on your TBR strictly because of its beautiful cover? So typically I'm not that big of a cover buyer. I will love a cover, pick a book up, read what it's about, and if it's not for me, I put it back down. But every now and again, I'm so drawn in by a cover that I just have to have it, and the last one that it happened with is Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. Honestly, I chose this one because this cover, this particular edition, was the cover buy for me. I think the US cover is alright, but I specifically wanted this edition because I like it so much more than the American edition, so it's technically a cover buy. The seventh question is, what is a book that's on your TBR that you never plan on reading? So I'm not sure that I really like this question. Any book that I keep on my TBR, I plan on reading at some point. I frequently do unhauls so that I don't have books on my shelf that I'm not planning on reading. However, I do have some books on dreams and some nonfiction books, some writing craft books that I don't read the same way that I read fiction books. So I guess if you really wanted to, you could count my craft books and just nonfiction stuff that's not like a memoir or things like that, but there's nothing specific. The 8th question is, what is an unpublished book on your TBR that you're excited for? So, okay, I've been thinking in terms of physical TBR, which I think is fine. It just sort of excludes upcoming releases, but if I had to pick one, or because it's me, I'm gonna pick a couple, I would have to go with Faithless Hawk, Empire of the Vampire, and The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. The 9th question is, what's a book on your TBR that everyone has read but you? At this point, I'm starting to believe that it's Illuminae, because I just don't think anyone hasn't read it. Well, I mean, there are people who haven't read it, but I feel like I'm one of the last people who's actually interested in it who hasn't already read it. The 10th question is, what is a book on your TBR that everyone recommends to you? I'm gonna go with The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I've had this one on my TBR for a while and everyone raves about this, so I take that as a recommendation. If someone that I trust and someone that has a similar taste to me likes this book, I take that as a recommendation, but also some actual friends of mine have read this and they really liked it. Number 11, what is a book on your TBR that you are dying to read? Like I said, I keep only books that I want to read on my TBR, so really I'm dying to read all of these books back here. Obviously some more than others, but that's unrealistic. So I'm gonna quickly pick a few for you guys and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back with some books. The first one I picked is super shiny, and that is The Guinevere Deception by Kiersten White. The second one is a novella called The Black God's Drum. This is like an alternative steampunk New Orleans type thing. The other one is Goldilocks by Laura Lamb. This one is a space adventure thing where they're trying to find a more habitable planet for the people of Earth. And the last one that I picked is The Wolf of Oren Yarrow. This one just seems really brutal and something that I really want to read soon. And the last question is, how many books are on your TBR? So we're talking physical TBR here. So I wouldn't say that I'm embarrassed about the answer, but I do just wish that I hadn't let things accumulate so much when I first started booktube. But I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm just gonna give you guys the number because the number is 145. So that was it for the tag. If you guys know the number of unread books on your shelf, whether that is a physical shelf or a digital shelf or both, feel free to leave it in the comments because I'm sure that I'm not the only one with an out of control TBR. That's it for today and I will see you guys next time.